I welcome you all on this orientation class of ATX for June 2024 exam session. The ATX for June 2024 exam session is based on Finance Act 2023, and this Finance Act 2023 would be relevant for June 2024, September 24, December 24, and March 25 exam session. Uh, in this ATX, there are the complete TX is there, and the complete TX is approximately 70% of ATX. It means in ATX, there are two components. One is the TX, and there are 30% new areas of ATX, like which was not part of the TX. If someone asked me, like, okay, not someone asked, a different discussion. In TX, being the tutor of TX and ATX both, one thing I do realize, like once any of the student is done with the TX exam, let's say today is his exam of TX, the very next day, he or she will forget approximately half of the TX related stuff. And once you have the results with you and positive results, you forget rest of the 50% thing. So once you are done with the TX results, you have the TX results in your hand, you forgot all of the TX. This is not the case with FR, PM, FM, audit, law type of stuff, because these papers are something which are, which remains part of your discussion with either your seniors, with your juniors, with your peers. But TX is something, once we are done with that TX, we normally forgot what was there, right? And I do understand this constraint, and that's why my approach towards ATX is, while studying ATX, we have to cover TX, this area, plus new topics as well. And when I'm using the word new topics, I mean this one area. This is something which we need to revise, which we need to brush up. Like, these concepts are in our mind, but they are like out of mind. So it's not like we don't know these, we know these topics, but they are not in our mind at the moment. A different thing. These are the things which we need to learn. So the ATX overall classes lectures are divided into two broad parameters. The first broad parameter is the revision, is the brushing of the old concepts. And obviously, revision means we will be practicing to some extent as well, plus learning of new topics, new concepts as well. Okay. So due to this thing, due to this feature, due to this element, that syllabus of TX get very long. And the long element can be evident with the thickness of textbook. Like, if you guys are aware or not, the ATX textbook is the thickest book of ACC. So we need to cover this aspect as well. Any questions so far? Yep. No. Sufyan, any question? Sufi Khan, any question from your sides? Okay. Sufi Khan, nothing from your side? Uh, Syllabus or content? Uh, One of the topic is income tax. So if you recall, income tax was there in the TX as well. So in ATX, we also have the income tax topic. After this income tax, the second topic. Okay. In income tax, there are some new topics, concepts, and there are some old topics, but they are more in-depth discussion relating to those topics. Just joining the dots, income tax contains employment income, property income, trading income, interest income, dividend income, pension income, losses, NICs, partnership, administration of tax. I hope I covered the pension. Other miscellaneous topics. So these 10, 11, 12 topics are part of the income tax. But in every topic, there are some new topics, there are some new concepts, there are some in-depth discussions within the income tax. Second major topic is capital gains tax. Capital gains tax has some new topics, concepts, in-depth discussion. Plus, second and the most important thing in the ATX with respect to capital gains is interaction between different release. What does it mean, interaction between different release? For example, if you recall, in ATX, in capital gains, there used to be so many reliefs. For example, name of the reliefs are, possible name of the reliefs are um, income tax, BADR, investor relief, principal private residence की relief. Any further? Principal private residence relief. Any relief further? Do you recall any further name? No. So in addition to this, rollover relief, holdover relief, so many reliefs, right? in TX, the main focus with respect to the release was the discussion relating to the release. But in ATX, there is one more new additional aspect, and which is very much close to the practicality, which is very much close to the reality. That is, if in a given situation, there are there are two, three reliefs which met at one point of time, then what are we supposed to do? Like, which relief should we opt in that situation? So, like, let me give you an example in a simplistic way. For example, if I want to go to home from my office, okay, if I search the best possible route with the help of Google, like Mr. Google, what is the best possible route to my home? Google always tells me two, three different routes to reach home, right? Google never ever tells me like, Mr. This is the only way to reach home. No, Google tells me two to three ways to reach home. And Google do recommends Google do recommend me one best route as well. And the recommendation of best route is on the basis of the distance, the level of traffic, and the overall time which we are going to take. If and based on these three parameters, Google do suggest me like, look, this is the best possible route for you, right? That's a suggestion based on the Google. That's not a decision. That's a suggestion. For example, I am kind of a person to whom uh, to whom distance is not the matter, level of traffic is the matter. So, for example, if Google says me, Mr. If you go from this route, there will be traffic, but less distance. If I'm against the traffic person, I'm like, Google, I'm fine to take the long route. But just the simple thing is, I really don't want that traffic, avoid the traffic. So via this approach, probably, I would end up in taking long route, but less traffic because that's my preference. In the same way, for example, if someone who is like fine to stuck up in the traffic but wants to avoid the long route, that person, priority to that person would be to avoid the long route. Again, this varies from person to person. Third person, I'm fine with both. I just want to be as quick as we can. Please tell me the quickest route. So the factor change. In the same way, with respect to capital gains, if in a given situation, two, three, four different relief conditions are met, then which relief should be opted? Then which relief should be opted? So there are some factors which need to consider before deciding which relief should be opted. And this is basically we will be covering in interaction with different reliefs. Inheritance tax. Inheritance tax. Was that topic easy or difficult in TX? So one easy, five difficult. Where you rank it? One easy, five difficult. What's your views about this topic? Two. Good one, Satya. So yes, I agree. Like this topic is not very much difficult. Whatever in the ATX, whatever is in the TX that approximately 50% of ATX IHT. Whatever you have studied in TX, that is only 50% of ATX IHT. This means 50% of the new topics will be covered. If I ask the similar question with respect to VAT, was it difficult, easy, one easy, five difficult? Good one. So, VAT all are same. Just there are three new concepts in that. Corporation tax. In corporation tax, there are new topics, concepts, in-depth discussions. So this is around the corporation tax. In addition to all that, there is one entirely new topic, like conceptually it's new, that is overseas aspects. Overseas aspects with respect to income tax, with respect to capital gains tax, with respect to inheritance tax, with respect to corporation tax, with respect to VAT. The VAT aspect of this topic is already covered over here. So in this overseas aspects, we will be talking about these four areas. What is overseas aspect? So overseas aspects is, for example, I live in Karachi. Sorry, I live in Pakistan. I live in Pakistan. Uh, and some time of the year, I live in, let's say, UK as well. I have income from UK. I have income from Pakistan. The question is, in which country I am supposed to pay the tax? Am I supposed to pay the tax in UK or in Pakistan or in both of the countries? At the moment, I'm talking about income tax, capital gains tax, inheritance tax, all of the taxes I'm talking about. So this is something which overseas aspects named topic has to talk about. In which country you are supposed to pay the tax? How much in which country you are supposed to pay the tax? So this is something which will be covered in overseas aspects of overseas aspects. And this is something which is not only relates to one topic, let's say income tax. So this is something which has to do with each and every topic. So this is something which is there in the income tax, which is there in the capital gains tax, which is there in the IHT, which is there in the corporation tax and VAT as well. Plus, in addition to this overseas aspects, there are some other miscellaneous topics as well. Other miscellaneous topics, as in uh, other miscellaneous topics, as in there are some of the topics which do not directly link with income tax or capital gains or inheritance or VAT or corporation tax. Rather, this is something which covers each and every topic. So that's why I'm putting a separate heading with this. So this is a brief division description of the syllabus or content which we have to cover. Which we have to cover throughout our syllabus. Having said that, if you notice with the overseas aspects, I put a asterisk with very important, because it is something which is like very important with respect to our ATX syllabus. Um, any questions before I move further? Any question? Anything which you want to discuss? Okay. Thank you, Sufyan. Sufi, anything from you? By the way, like all professional exams, ATX has some area relating to ethics as well. Ethics is same as what you have already studied in your audit, in your uh, these kind of paper. Like there will be nothing new in the ethics. But what is changed over here with respect to ethics? What is changed over here? So the key change with respect to ethics over here is uh, in F8, you have studied ethics in capacity of auditor, right? Here you will be studying ethics with respect to tax consultant. Here you will be studying ethics in capacity of tax consultant, in capacity of tax advisor. Okay, like the fundamental principles of ethics: integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence, due care, professional behavior. All these things remain same. There will be no change in any of these ethical principles. What will change over here? Like I said, only the capacity to think will change. Previously, you used to think on these lines in capacity of auditor. Now you will be thinking on these lines in capacity of tax consultant, in capacity of tax advisor. In the same way, the ethical threats would remain the same: self-interest threat, self-review threat, familiarity threat, advocacy threat, intermediation threat. The threats would remain the same. Again, what will change over here? The change would be the capacity to think would change. Now, you need to think conflict of interest with respect to a tax consultant. with respect to tax advisor, with respect to tax partner. Okay. Any further question? Any further question? Would, would we have revision concise notes? So Sufi, yes, but obviously not now. Revision notes, concise notes will be used once we are done with our regular syllabus. Because like you use the word concise means there will be no very in-depth discussion of any of the conditions or any of the particular topic, because they are, like you said, concise. So they are not good for to initial ready. They are only good for the final revision purposes. Okay, let me move forward towards the total lectures hours of regular course. So honestly, it's difficult to tell you total hours, but roughly speaking, that is around 70 to 80 hours approximately. Roughly approximation, like, but 75, 70, 80 type of hours would be in total. Paper format. The paper is divided into three sections. Sorry, two sections, three questions. Section A, Section B. Section A contains one question. Section B contains two questions. Section A, a total of 50 marks, 25, 25. There are some technical marks and there are some professional marks. If I talk about technical marks in section A, there are 40 technical marks, 10 professional marks, 20, 20. As a result, total of 100 marks. This includes 5 marks on ethics. Professional marks. This is something which we will cover towards end. So professional marks will be covered towards end, and professional marks is something which we will cover once we are done with the technical marks. Because if you know the technical marks, you can then have the professional marks. But it is not possible, like you don't have the technical marks and you get the professional marks. No, that's not possible. Okay. So professional marks, that's why professional marks, something which we will cover once we are done with our regular syllabus. Okay. Moving forward. Anything so far, or should I start my last discussion for today? Um, any one of you, Kainat, Sufi, Sufyan, anything, any one of you want to discuss, or should I start the last piece of discussion from my side for today? Thank you, Sufi, for the feedback. Sufyan, Kainat, anything from your side further?
No, sir, thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, Perfect. So please, the last piece, listen to this thing very carefully. Your ATX would be on a pre-recorded lecture basis. So there are recordings available on your portal. You have to cover your recording. Now, in this approach, one thing which I personally feel missing element is the interaction between my side and you guys. So to make a bridge between that interaction between myself and you guys, what I have planned is to keep a weekly query session, weekly class, which is basically a query session plus we will be solving exam kit in that class as well. Okay. Now, to have a effective query session, you have to follow this schedule. You have to follow this planner. I am like on every Friday, the week ends, and on every Saturday, there will be a class. On Friday, like let's say, and in first week, the topic which you are supposed to cover is capital gains tax. To cover this topic, on Saturday, 23rd March, next Saturday, first of all, I will be caring for your queries. Once I'm done with your queries, then we will start solving the exam kit. Then in week two, you guys are supposed to cover inheritance tax. Once you are done with inheritance tax, on Saturday, on 30th March, we will solve for your queries. The class time would be, this is during Ramzan, and these timings would be after the holy month of Ramzan. So after Ramzan, 6:30, during Ramzan, 4:30, uh, this would be your class time. In week three, you have to cover income tax. Week four, you have to cover these topics. Week five, six, seven, general query session, ethics, plus planning, plus professional marks discussion. And the revision class, exam question practice class. By the way, uh, by this date, do not solve the exam kit at your own. Start solving the exam kit after 11th May. Because in the exam kit, one of the problem of the ATX is in one single question, there will be a multiple topics will be tested. For example, in one question, it is possible some area of corporation tax, some area of capital gain, some area of income tax. Now you can only solve the exam kit properly, perfectly once you are done with majority of the syllabus. In fact, 100% of the syllabus. So do start solving exam kit after this date. By this date, by this date, the two key practice element would be class notes plus textbook examples, test your understandings, or study hub. So by 11th, you have to cover from a practice, from a question calculation perspective, all of your test your understanding, examples, illustrations of the textbook or study hub, whatever you are following, and the class notes. And once you are done by 11th May, then you can start the exam kit. Second important thing which I like to share with you, in your portal, there will be two PDFs available. One would be annotated and second would be unannotated. Unannotated means the blank file, like blank as in the only pre-typed element would be there. Annotated, like the PDF which you can see on the screen is annotated. I have my own marking over here. What I will advise you guys is take a print hard copy of these unannotated notes. Take a hard copy of these unannotated notes. And while solving, while looking for the lectures, do annotate this at your own. Do annotate this at your own, please. Why are this? This will increase the retention, the memorization, and one of the important aspects is this will support you to memorize the tiny things, which is a great problem in ATX. Like there are so many granular stuff which is very difficult to keep in mind. So this thing will help you in keeping the granular stuff in your mind. Okay. Whatever pointers which you are not clear, let's say in any of the topic, put table that in your query session and get it answered, and not only wait for always query session, you can raise your question in your group as well, in your WhatsApp group as well. Yes. So anything further before I talk about any other thing? Thank you, Sufyan. Sufi Khan, can I ask anything from your side further?
No, sir, thank you.
Welcome. Nothing from you, Sufi. Okay. As per past practice, uh, query session plus exam kits, like your live class PDF plus recording would also be shared. So that's not the worry thing, okay? So the live class PDF, the recordings that will also be available. PDF would be available immediately after the class, and recording would be available, let's say, after time of make it very next day. I would not say on the same day immediately. Make it a time lag of 1 day. So after the 1 day element, that will also be available to you. So with this, uh, I'm done with the complete discussion, which I'm supposed to discuss as part of the orientation class. If anything is in your mind, in anyone's mind, please do let me know so that we can discuss that accordingly. So if no more question, then uh, enjoy your rest of the day, enjoy your Sunday. By the way, one thing I missed to share with you guys, like if due to any reason we are unable to convene on Saturday, like yesterday I was out of station, I was unable to conduct the session yesterday. So in any of this such situation, then we will keep the class on next day. So by default, the class is scheduled for Saturday. But if due to any of the reason we are unable to meet on Saturday, then we will keep the class on Sunday. But weekly class would be there. So it's a matter of Saturday or Sunday. But one thing for sure is weekly class would be there. So there is no second thought on having a weekly class. Now, nothing left from my side to cover. If anything from your side to ask, please do let me know. Else, I like to say thank you for today. Sufyan, so like I said, very honestly, the default assumption, my personal default assumption is the students who are sitting in this ATX session, they are zero from the TX perspective. So it's not like I'm by default assuming that uh, anything with respect to ATX that will be covered by you at your own. No, we will be revising the TX related stuff as well. So nothing to worry around. Perfect. So if no further thing, thank you from my side for today. Enjoy your Sunday, and please, I request do follow this planner properly and do attend your query session. Please, that's it from my side. Being the last thing for today. Likewise, Sofyan. So it's always great to hear uh, the older students. So good to hear you guys also. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Uh, be safe. Allah Hafiz.
Yeah, please, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz.